guys, welcome to Roller Coaster Family. I wanted to give you our roller coaster favorites list. So we're gonna start with mine today. Let's start from the bottom. So at number 18, we have Wilderness Run. And it's not to say that this is a bad coaster, it's just a very beginner coaster. It is the perfect kiddie coaster if your kid is nervous about riding a roller coaster. I mean, honestly, I kind of debated about 17 and 18 just a little bit because Wilderness Run gives you this cute little photo at the end of it, and number 17 does not. So, leading right into number 17 is Cedar Creek Mine Ride. It's technically not a kiddie coaster. You have to be 48 inches tall to ride this very boring, very jolty roller coaster. Even my kids don't love it. Like when they first can ride it, they feel big and it's a good, okay coaster to kind of get them into some of those wooden coasters. But there are other better coasters at the park, which we'll get into in a second. So I debated about having this be my last one just because they don't even have a picture to get credit for doing this roller coaster. At number 16, I have Woodstock Express. And this is another coaster in the kiddie area, and it's kind of like a little more grown up. So as the kids graduate from Wilderness Run and they want to try something a little bigger, Woodstock Express is the perfect stepping stone for that. And there again, they have a picture that you can remember these cherished moments with your kids where you get to ride that roller coaster with them for the very first time, and that's priceless to have those pictures. Honestly, more fun than Cedar Creek Mine Ride. At number 15, I have Corkscrew. Corkscrew is a rough ride. Like if you have back problems, probably don't ride this ride unless you're like crazy like our family and want to get a roller coaster credit, then ride it once and then never ride it again. It's an iconic coaster because it's right in the middle of the area. Like the track goes over the people walking underneath it, and that's awesome. For my kids, it was like their first roller coaster that they went upside down, and that was exciting, and so we rode it a couple times, and then even they decided that's a rough ride. At number 14, I have Iron Dragon. And Iron Dragon is a great ride. They used to have this at a 48-inch height minimum, but they've recently changed that. So now it's 42 inches, and my 42-inch kids love it. I'm really happy that they made that change. But as far as roller coasters go and excitement for myself, it's pretty low on the list. It's not super exciting. We used to ride it quite a bit when they were redoing Top Thrill Dragster, turning it into Top Thrill 2, just so we could see what they're doing. It's not like the best coaster. My number 13 roller coaster is Blue Streak. This one is also a rough ride, and it is the only true wooden roller coaster at Cedar Point. And so for that, there's kind of this nostalgic, it's the oldest roller coaster there. Historically, it is a very cool roller coaster, but it's pretty bumpy. You get kind of that true coaster feel, like the old school coaster. So I like that about it. My number 12 is Wild Mouse. Wild Mouse is like my kids' all-time favorite ride, especially as they get into that older bracket. 42 inches is the height requirement, and it is like so exciting because it feels like a big roller coaster, and it is so much fun to ride with kids. And honestly, that kind of factors into my equation a lot of the times because for us, riding roller coasters is a family affair, it's a family event. And so if it's more fun riding it with my kids, a lot of times it will go higher up in my list just because it's a great family experience. And so these cars seat 4 across, and you can really have kind of this fun family experience. When my daughter Evelyn rode it for the first time, she laughed the entire time, and that made Wild Mouse such a special roller coaster for us. Number 11 on my list, now we're starting to get into some of the bigger roller coasters. This one is Rougarou. Rougarou used to be a stand-up roller coaster, and you can tell if you've ever ridden a stand-up roller coaster, they weren't fun. Like you were not designed to ride roller coasters standing up. And so they converted this one into a sitting coaster. It's okay. Like if you could take the head banging out of this roller coaster, it would go up my list probably. But you have to factor in the head banging. I mean, I have like a Rougarou acquired position where when I ride it, I slide my hands around the restraints and cover my ears for the entirety of the ride. It's a lot more fun this way because my ears don't get all banged up and I don't feel like my head is going to explode afterwards. And if you do that, if you assume the position, you will have a more comfortable ride. I'm mostly talking to you ladies out there who are shorter than the men. My husband doesn't have as big as a problem as I do with this. It'll rock your world. your head, your body, everything. It rocks it, and it's rough. Number 10 on the list might surprise a couple of people. Number 10 for me is Valraven. And it is cool, like it's got the cool factor. It's got that like you hang over and then dive down, and it does that twice. But for me, it just is a little lackluster. I also, when I was having back pain, like I had a pinched nerve a couple years ago, and when I rode that roller coaster, that was one of the worst roller coasters for that, because as you're coming down, those positive G's are like crunching your spine. And I didn't expect that because it's such a smooth ride, but it is rough for that reason, and maybe that kind of ruined it for me, but like the excitement level of it doesn't justify kind of that pain. And when I'm not experiencing that pain, it's okay. But the biggest thrill is like the hang and the drop. And then it's just meandering through. So that's my number 10. Number 9, again, might be controversial with my number 10, but my number 9 is Gemini. And I don't know, this one just has a special place in my heart. I rode it with my sister. She was trying to overcome her fear of roller coasters, so we actually rode it like 2 or 3 times in a row, I believe. I still don't think she loves roller coasters, but it's such a cool old coaster, and I love that it's racing, and very rarely are they going at the same time. But I would love to, now that my kids are getting older and are almost old enough for all of us to be able to ride it, I would love for half of us to go on the red train and half of us to go on the blue train and ride that together. Like for me, that is a very exciting, fun family moment. I don't know if we'll get to experience that or not, because it seems like when we've gone the last couple of times, they've either only been running one train or none. And so that kind of scares me for the future of Gemini. But it is a fun, older coaster that just, I like it. I like Gemini. At number 8, I have Magnum XL 200. And this one, honestly, it's risen in the ranks a little bit because it used to be lower than a lot of these other ones. But I rode it again this summer, and I actually enjoyed it. It was fun. I rode it with my brother, and he is also very scared of roller coasters. But if you haven't gathered, my family that I came from is not like a roller coaster family. Like we grew up in Alaska, there's not roller coasters there. So, you know, this is a new experience for us. Magnum is like historic because it was the first coaster over 200 feet. And it definitely shows its age. It's rough in some spots, and when you're getting that ejector air time, you're like slamming into those thigh restraints. It's a little rough. My brother is 6'4", and he was slamming against them, and he was in pain when we got off. But it is a really fun, classic, just out and back roller coaster. If you haven't experienced one like this is kind of where the bigger coasters were born, and so it's got that historic piece to it as well. And number 7 is Gatekeeper. And Gatekeeper for me is like, if you don't like roller coasters but you want to try something a little more exciting, that's Gatekeeper, because it's smooth, it's beautiful, it's got this iconic twist through the gate of all of Cedar Point. You see it as soon as you walk in, and it's just this beautiful coaster, and it's a wing coaster, which is, you know, it can be a little scary, but it was one of the first rides that I rode at Cedar Point, and I was like, wow, I really like that. Gatekeeper is one of my faves. It's number 7, and I know that a lot of people might argue with me that I put it over Magnum. I don't care. You roller coaster enthusiasts out there, this is my list. These are my favorites. Number 6 is Raptor. And Raptor, I kind of fell in love with the first time we ever went to Cedar Point. We had fast passes on the second day, which we needed because we were trying to hit all the rides, and super crowded that day. We rode it in the front row that time because we had the fast passes. Otherwise, we would have just chosen any row. And I don't think Raptor is a number 6 roller coaster unless you're sitting in the front row. Like, to me, that makes all the difference in the world. You have to sit in the front row on Raptor, and it's just an intense, cool, fun, inverted like multiple times going upside down, and you're hanging from the track in an inverted way, and it's amazing. So I really like Raptor. It shows its age a little bit too if you've ridden some of the newer inverted coasters, but it's a great ride. And number 5, again, I will probably receive flack for this, but this just isn't my kind of ride. And the only reason it's at number 5 is because you get to like over 400 feet, and that's really cool, and there are not very many roller coasters that do that. But the one that it replaced was 1,000 times better. You can fight me as much as you want, I don't care. Top Thrill Dragster was way better than Top Thrill 2. But because Top Thrill Dragster is not here anymore, my number 5 is Top Thrill 2. I'm just not a huge fan of the pendulum. If we're talking comparing the two, I really liked the old launch. That being said, now when you get to the very top of the top hat and you're flipping over the top, there is a lot more whippiness up there on Top Thrill 2, and that is very exciting. So for that one little moment, when you were like 420 feet in the air, you get like thrown out that high up and then come crashing back down. For me, it's a little rough, and we think it's a height thing because people who are around my height or wherever their torso sits and head sits, because both me, my mother-in-law, anyone about my height has had a similar like head, I don't even know how to describe it. It feels like a head tornado. Your head's not banging on anything, but it feels like a lot of the forces for some reason. So that again is another reason it's not higher on my list. But anyways, Top Thrill 2, number 5. The newest roller coaster at the park, and that is Siren's Curse. I loved Siren's Curse. The onboard audio was way cooler than I thought it would be. Going up, getting tilted, that's just a unique experience. And for me, part of the reason some of these coasters are higher on the list, like number 5, is because of this unique thing about it. You can't experience that hardly anywhere else. Being able to experience the tilt roller coaster, the siren singing to you and then dropping you after hanging you there for 10 seconds, it's fun and it's exciting. And it's not just that's not like the only part of the ride that's enjoyable. The whole rest of it is a lot of fun. And to make it even better, my 6-year-old rode that with me this summer. Oh my gosh, what a fun experience riding that with my young kids who just squeal with delight. Obviously, it's not for every kid, but for this particular kid, she loves roller coasters, and that was such a treat. My number 3 roller coaster at Cedar Point is Millennium Force. And I kind of like went back and forth on this one. I was trying to debate between this one and Siren's Curse and some of my other ones, but I think it's good to stay at number 3. I had 1 or 2 not as great rides on Millennium Force this year, but it always in the end pleases me. Even when there are a bunch of gnats, and I have seen a bunch of gnats and been hit in the face and eyes, and because it's right on the water, but because it's right on the water, it's so beautiful and it's so much fun, and it's just like that classic roller coaster. You go out and back, kind of like Magnum, but better than Magnum. It's smoother, it's more intense, it's more fun, it's a bigger drop. Millennium Force is pretty solid at number 3. All right, we are down to the final 2, and again, I know that many of you might disagree with me here. I can take it. Go ahead and tell me why I'm wrong in the comments. But again, remember, this is my list, my favorites. My number 2 roller coaster at Cedar Point is Steel Vengeance. I know, it is a great ride. I love Steel Vengeance. You go up the lift hill and it drops, and the drop is just like, but my favorite part about Steel Vengeance is when you're inside of the lattices and you're doing those 0G rolls. Like, that feels amazing every time, and I just feel like I'm floating through the air, flying. I love Steel Vengeance. I love it. I have nothing against it, and I have gone back and forth about this one and my number 1 roller coaster so many times, but I have to put it at number 2, and I'll explain why when I get to number 1. Steel Vengeance is a work of art. It is one of the best roller coasters in the world, and objectively, it literally may be one of the very best, but it's not my favorite at Cedar Point. My number 1 roller coaster at Cedar Point has been and continues to be throughout all time Maverick. It was literally the very first roller coaster that I rode at Cedar Point. It was my 2nd roller coaster ever riding, ever. And the first one I don't remember. So for me, there is a lot of nostalgia with Maverick. I just love everything about it. It's a work of art. Intamin is amazing. The above 90-degree descent is amazing. The whippiness, it feels like you're on a bucking bronco the entire time. I love the 0G rolls. I love everything about it. It's over the water. It's not just next to the water, it's over the water, and it's beautiful, and it's got these willow trees, and and you've got that stop, which instead of a mid-course brake run, which totally ruins rides a lot of times, they were creative enough to create this element of the launch inside the tunnel that like just excites the whole rest of the ride. There is not one boring moment in Maverick. And every single time, and this has been kind of my gauge throughout of why it's my favorite ride, is because every time I ride it, when I'm done riding it, I can't help but laugh. I am laughing at the end every single time I ride Maverick. So my number one roller coaster at Cedar Point is Maverick. Now that you kind of know the way my brain works when it comes to roller coasters, you might be able to guess my number one roller coaster in the world that I've ridden. So you can go ahead and guess in the comments below. It is not Maverick, although Maverick was number one for years. So anyways, that is my favorite roller coaster list at Cedar Point as of 2025. If you disagree, if you want to fight me, go ahead and do it in the comments. If you agree with me, and if you don't, you can like it, whatever. Leave some impression that you were here. That really helps out our channel. If you like watching this stuff, go ahead and click to subscribe. I'm going to be posting my kids' favorite list, my husband's favorite list, and hopefully we'll be able to post a lot more frequently. So thanks so much for watching. Peace.